Beautiful people of the great Pacific Northwest. It is Floyd Neal with Windermere Professional Partners. And you know what time it is. It's time for the Real Deal Definitions. Let's go. Yep, that's right, people. It is another episode of the Real Deal Definitions, and today we are talking about appraised value. So, appraised value is the evaluation of a property's value at a given point in time. This evaluation is performed by a professional appraiser and is usually done at the beginning of the mortgage origination process. The appraiser will be selected by the lender. However, this appraisal will be paid for by the buyer. Let's dive into it a little bit more. The appraised value is a very important part of the loan underwriting process. It usually determines how much money can be borrowed and under what terms. So, for instance, the loan to value ratio is determined by the appraised value. Let's say that the loan to value ratio is 80% or more. At that point, the lender may require that the buyer have private mortgage insurance. Later on, if loan to value ratio drops below 78%, private mortgage insurance payments can be erased. Another interesting fact that you should know is that the appraised value can differ from the market value and even the agreed upon purchase price. Market value is what a buyer is willing to pay for a property. For instance, let's say that a buyer offers $220,000 for a house that was marketed at $240,000. This generally leads to some negotiations between the seller and the buyer, and let's say that they agree upon $232,000 for the purchase of the property. The appraisal can still come in at $225,000, which leaves a $7,000 difference. At this point, there's four options. The seller can come down in price, the buyer can come up and make up the difference, they can meet somewhere in the middle, or they can walk away from the transaction. Buyers should always keep this in mind whenever they're placing their offers in on a house. It has to appraise, or you have to be able to make up the difference, or one of those other options that we just talked about. There are so many different things that affect the value, the appraised value of a home. We're talking about curb appeal. We're talking about infrastructure issues that should be addressed. We're talking about neighborhoods, economic obsolescence. That's what's going on around you. Lots of different things that go into this, and the appraiser's job is to come in and find out if the home is really worth what it is that you were saying that it's about. There are many ways that you can improve the appraised value, and I would love to talk to you about it, but we're running out of time on this one. So we're going to call it cuts, but you can jump into those comments and let me know what it is that you have questions about, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Again, if you know anybody who's looking to buy, to sell, to invest in real estate, have them contact me at 253-257-8889, or they can head over to www.therealdealneal.com. Again, this is Floyd, the Real Deal Neal with Windermere, and this has been another episode of the Real Deal Definitions. Y'all take care. Stay educated.